So Final Fantasy just came out, but that doesn't mean we don't still have new cards. The hype train is ever rolling. So tonight we are going to be taking a look at some new cards that we will be getting with Edge of Eternities. So let's take a quick look at the few cards that we have seen revealed so far. Now, we are far away. So we're pretty far away from the actual spoiler season starting. We've just gotten a few previews that have been given to us from the most recent MagicCon. So let's take a look at these few cards and make some early analysis. So starting first, we have this white card right here. This is called the Serrima. It is a one colorless and 2 white mana legendary artifact spacecraft. And it says, when the Serrima enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And it has a new mechanic. The mechanic is called Station. And Station means tap another creature you control. Put a charge counters equal to its power on this spacecraft. Station only as a sorcery. It's an artifact creature at 7+. So once you have 7 charge counters on the Serrima, it becomes a permanent artifact creature. So it starts as just like a vehicle kind of situation, but it's going to require a lot of crewing. But once you've reached that crew requirement, you don't have to crew it anymore. It is now permanently an artifact creature. Now, how do I feel about this mechanic? I'm a little mixed on it. One, I like the fact that you only have to do a one-time investment on it. However, the fact that it permanently becomes an artifact creature means that it doesn't dodge mass removal in the same way that vehicles do. And that was really a big selling point, for me at least, on vehicles, is that it's only a creature on your turn. When your turn ends, it stops being a creature, and thus can dodge mass removal. So if your opponent plays like a Sunfall or a Wrath of God or something like that on their turn, it'll clear everything away except for the vehicle. But with this, it makes it so that the creature stays a creature and then can get swept away. So I'm a little mixed on it currently. But also, one thing that Wizards of the Coast likes to do is they like to show you like a few like underpowered cards early, just to give you a taste for the mechanics, and they're going to show you the really good juicy stuff later. So I'm anticipating seeing some better stuff as we get closer to the release of this set. However, the real power, I think, of this card comes in the fact that you get to search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand when you put this into play. So, in a way, it's a 5/5 creature later that allows you to tutor now and get something relevant for your next turn. So, it's a pretty cool card. I like it. Let's move on. Next, we have this card right here. It is Stherra the Super Void. So for 2 colorless and 2 black mana, you get a legendary enchantment that reads, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it. So that's kind of like a Grave Pact. The old Grave Pact card cost 1 colorless and 3 black mana, and whenever you would lose a creature, like you sacrifice a creature or a creature dies on your side of the table, then your opponents then have to sacrifice a creature. But this card kind of like upgrades that effect a little bit, and rather than making them sacrifice the creature, it exiles it using Stherra. At the beginning of your end step, if a player controls no creatures, sacrifice Stherra, then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters. So that's the real juice of the card. It's like, it's not a card that's going to stick around forever. Once the board is clear, then Stherra goes away, and then you get one of the creatures that Stherra sucked up. So it's kind of Grave Pact, and it's kind of Pestilence at the same time. Both really cool cards, very cool card effects, kind of combined into this really powerful Super Void. I like this card a lot. I think I'll probably be playing with this card. Okay, in green we have the Harmonious Grove Strider. It is a star beast for 5 mana, and it reads Ward 2. Okay, so it can protect itself a little bit. That's good. And it says, this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Okay, so this card will not see play. Mainly because we already have the Star 4 vehicle from, I think it was Duskmourn, that had power equal to the number of lands you control, and it was a vehicle. So I really don't think this is going to see play over something like that. However, this will definitely see play in Limited. This is a pretty good Limited card. Only thing it's lacking is Trample or some form of evasion. But it is a big, beefy boy for 5 mana, and it can protect itself with Ward 2, so that's pretty good. So you'll definitely see this in some Limited decks. Not standard, though. Okay, next up we have a few multicolor cards. We have Alfariel, the Dreaming Acolyte. For 1, a blue and a black, you get a 2/3 human cleric that reads, when Alfariel enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. Okay, so right there we're seeing the theme for blue-black. Blue-black artifacts matter. So this card comes in, you draw 2, discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. So it's either discard 2 cards that you don't need or discard an extra artifact that you don't need. So that is actually pretty decent. This card can actually give you card advantage rather than just looting. And it says, during your turn, Alfariel has Death Touch. Honestly, I don't know why they just didn't give that character Death Touch all the time. During your turn doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And there's a lot of creatures out there with permanent Death Touch anyways, so giving this Death Touch really wouldn't be all too crazy. But pretty decent at uncommon and being able to draw a bunch of cards for you. I like it. Next up we have Sammy, the Ship's Engineer. For 2 colorless, a red and a white, you get a 2/4 legendary creature human artificer that reads, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, create a tapped 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So it just generates more dudes for you if you already have board presence. Not too shabby. So yeah, by all means, give this guy a shot. I don't know how well he'll be in Constructed. Probably another Limited card. Next up we have Tonic, Memorial Ensign. Pretty cool looking guy. What? He's a Kavu pilot? Okay, so that's interesting because typically in Magic, Kavu are a race of mostly mindless, like genetic mutants. Like most of them don't really do anything. They're just mindless beasts. But this guy is a Kavu pilot. That's kind of cool. All right, let's read them. 2/4 for 1, a red and a green, landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tonic deals 1 damage to each opponent. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card. Okay, so he definitely wants you to be playing with fetch lands. Awesome. That's a very cool card, has a very cool ability. You may be able to see him as a support card in a landfall deck. And then over here we have Kilo, Apogee Mind. For a red, a blue, and a white, 3/3, legendary artifact creature, robot artificer, haste. When Kilo becomes tapped, proliferate. That's pretty awesome. So this is the first that we've seen of proliferate in this set. Now, however, you look at the set symbol there, and it shows the commander set symbol. So that may mean that proliferate will not be in the base set for this expansion. It may just be a commander thing. So if we don't see any more cards that have proliferate on them, we'll know for certain. And last we have Zarell, the Genesis Shepherd. This is another commander card. So it's 2 and a Jund. You get a 2/5 flying insect druid. That's kind of cool. You may play lands from your graveyard. Whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Zarell's power on up to one other target creature. Okay, so whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, you put, at least at base, 2 +1/+1 counters on another creature. Now, bear in mind that this said permanent, not non-land permanent, just non-token permanent. So this wants to be played with fetch lands. So you play a fetch land, you get a landfall from another card in your deck, then you crack the fetch land, and you go get another basic land from your library, and then you give 2 +1s to another creature on your board. So this is a card that definitely wants to be played with fetch lands. It wants to be played with other sacrifice effects. This is a pretty cool card, but also bear in mind that it says non-token, so this will not work with like food tokens or treasures or things like that. So it has to be a non-token card. Okay, and here we have, in colorless, we have Tesar, the Cruel Captain. So it is the Planeswalker for the set. It is a 4 loyalty for 3 colorless mana that says Legendary Planeswalker Tesar. Static ability is whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tesar. Okay, that's pretty cool. So he has a way to proliferate himself. 0, untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, cool. So he can kind of defend himself in a way. I mean, he can't generate another creature, but he will be able to untap something that you attacked with to protect himself. So that's pretty good. -3 is search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so the obvious thing to go get in Commander is your Soul Ring. I mean, that's just what you're going to go get with this. Now, whether or not this is a good card for Commander, that remains to be seen. Now, we also need to see what other artifacts are going to be coming with this new set that do cost 1 or less mana. So if we have anything decent, then Tesar could be a good standard card. We shall see. And -7 is you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So it is a really good ultimate ability. However, you will never get there unless you play a lot of artifacts in your deck already to get those loyalty counters up. Or if you can find a way to proliferate your counters up to 7. Because his other abilities read 0 and -3. So just by using his abilities, you're not going to get to use his ultimate ability. So pretty interesting card. Pretty interesting. I like it. And then in the lands, here we have the real draw for this set, at least so far, and that is the shock lands are back. So you have Breeding Pool, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry, Stomping Ground, and Watery Grave. These are dual lands that will come into play untapped if you pay 2 life when you play them. Otherwise, it comes into play tapped. So these are cards that have not been reprinted since I think their original printing in I believe it was Ravnica. Like, these cards are highly sought after, so I can definitely see these cards being box sellers. Like, I'm personally considering picking up a box of this myself just because these shocklands are in this deck or are in this set. It's like, based off of that alone, plus whatever else that we might be getting with this set, makes me really excited for purchasing this set in paper. So yeah, definitely pick up yourself some playsets of the new shocklands. They're really good. And then we have our full art basic lands. You got your plains, your island, your swamp. And then you have your mountain, forest, and then more. Oh no, those are the same arts. These are they borderless? What's different about them? I don't see anything different about them. Either way, full art basic lands, and honestly, the arts on these kind of make this set look like StarCraft a little bit. So maybe they're trying to go for like a StarCraft, like really high fantasy, high sci fantasy vibe with this set, because these lands look amazing. They look really good. I like them a lot. Oh, and of course we get the Mutavault back. This was revealed, I believe, like on the first day. But Mutavault is a huge reprint. This card is so good. It's a land that you can tap for colorless, or you can pay 1, and this land becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn, and it's still a land. It's like Mishra's Foundry, like on steroids. It is such an amazing card. Yeah, so people will definitely be looking for Mutavaults in their future too. Yeah, so yeah, there it is. That is all the cards that we have seen so far spoiled from the recent MagicCon. And I am pretty excited for a few of these, specifically the Shock Lens, obviously. But aside from that, so Stherra, the Super Void, looks like a lot of fun. I'm really excited to play with that. The Serrima is interesting, but again, with the fact that the artifact creature stays an artifact creature once it's been fully crewed, that gives me a little bit of pause on that, because I think I kind of like vehicles a little bit more. Aside from that, yeah, I'm not sold on Tesar yet, which kind of sucks because I really like Tesar, like as a character. He's a really cool planeswalker. But I'm not sold on him just yet. I need to see more of the set and what kind of cards will be surrounding Tesar in order to figure out how to build him properly. And yeah, of course, the dual lands. We're all excited for the dual lands. But yeah, there it is. That's the cards for now, and keep your eyes open for new cards coming in the very soon future, because this set comes out in, what, like 2 months? Less than 2 months at this point. So yeah, we're going to be playing with these cards pretty soon, so keep your eyes open. All right, and until next time, you take care of yourselves.